So that's the power of videos. So videos with the new age selling techniques that we will talk about, your
Okay.
sales will not stop, should not stop. So
Okay.
that's one of the, I mean, that actually tells me, and the way I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
now is,
Mm.
yeah, probably in my Namaste posture, it came automatically, which is,
Right.
see, the typical sales 10 years back used to be
Okay.
where you need to go to a client place, shake
Right. Right.
hands with him, and
Mm-hmm.
then start the discussion, and then close the deal, and then ensure that he is cutting the check in literal sense, and then
Yeah.
you pick the check and come back. So from there to now, so things have changed crazily. What do you say?
Today is ऐसा मत करो ना. I had to put in some corona fact. But I think so. Very specifically with the new age marketing and sales. Hi Ramya. Ramya is here. And, good to see
Hey,
you
what's
here.
up? Can you see me?
Uh,
Hey,
uh,
what's up? What's up?
Hi,
so
Ramya.
Ramya, to give you context on what we were
Hi,
discussing,
Shankar.
so Shankar was saying
Hi.
Yes, right.
how the new methods of selling is involved from going to the client's place, very specifically shake hands with the client and get him to cut the check and the ribbon and get sweets, everything at that point, to how things have transitioned. And he was asking me my views on this. So I think at this point, selling is very so of course, with the onset of no cash, with the onset of cash being virtual, everything is going virtual, and so is selling. And for me, the concepts of selling don't exist anymore. There is no more selling that's happening, and people who are selling, they are falling apart. That's my view on this because, in fact, I was having a discussion with two people sitting here, Anya sitting here, and Sri was sitting here. I was having a discussion these days on how positioning yourself as an expert automatically happens because people see that. And he was giving me this example of how he's been posting videos, and over 2 weeks, one day he stopped posting and they're asking him why he didn't post. And they automatically saw him as an expert. And now, at this point, I'm so damn sure that if he were to post a product, put a product out, people would start buying from him as opposed to him selling. That's my view.
Yeah, I
Hi
mean,
Vikas is
absolutely.
here. Yeah.
Hi, Vikas. Hi, Balu. Hi, KK. KK, good to see you here. My pleasure. Awesome. So continuing on what you were saying, Swastik,
Uh-huh.
definitely, people hate to be sold. People want to buy,
Right.
and
Right.
I mean, earlier also it used to be there where you will have to facilitate the sale happening, but now
Mm-hmm.
it's all the more very important that you let the buyers buy, and any
Right. Right.
form
Right.
of trying to sell won't work. Won't work.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Here's the thing: people hate being sold, but they love buying. They absolutely love buying. For example, when okay, a good time to look good at this. But when I bought this, I was so involved in buying this. I tried so many different shades. I tried so many different brands. And yesterday, I went with my parents to buy their glasses, and this guy was trying so hard to sell a pair of glasses, and it drove us off that store, quite literally. So people hate being sold. People absolutely love buying. Think about it all the time. We just keep spending money. Can you, Shankar and Ramya, this question is for you. Can you think of one day where you don't spend money on something?
Sorry?
Can you think of a day where you don't spend money?
Not really. If there is some form of expenditure, no matter what. It's not physical, but it's always there.
So by default, it just means that we are naturally buying stuff.
Yes.
And if businesses are complaining that sales are not happening, what they're doing is they're trying to sell. That's the fault I see.
So
Yeah.
instead, what should they be doing?
Instead, in fact, I would recommend them to do what Sridhar did. I would want them to create videos, very simply put. So the reason I'm taking Sridhar's example, in fact, he's not even on letter, perhaps he's going to get on board. But I'm taking a very simple example here, where he started creating videos on being indistractable, being what you should be doing in the gym. Simple, very simple concept. And suddenly people are seeing him as an expert. And I can assure you this: if he had a workout supplement that he was selling, he would make so much money by now. So I think
Yeah.
what you should be doing instead is positioning yourself as an expert and get
No,
people to buy from you.
absolutely. Absolutely, Swastik. I have to tell you this personal story of
Mm-hmm.
mine and how
Okay.
videos really transformed me as a person doubled my income and everything else. Okay. So, 6 years back, I don't remember the exact year, but about 6, 7 years back, I shot one video, just a screen recording, put it up on
Okay.
YouTube, and that
Okay.
went viral. That went
Oh
viral.
wow.
I
Mm-hmm.
I went viral, and then I had not even seen that video. After six
Mm-hmm.
months, I went back to check the comments. There were like
Okay.
100 plus comments, so many subscribers, 50,000, 60,000 views had it had already crossed.
Oh, crazy.
I was like,
Wow.
I mean, I never imagined that it can happen. And
Yeah,
in
absolutely,
the last
absolutely.
6 months again, I started working on my YouTube channel again, and one
Mm-hmm.
more video by chance became viral, and that is giving me a
Okay.
lot of
Man,
this thing. So today morning I closed one sale only because of my YouTube channel,
Oh,
oh,
fantastic.
lovely.
completely because of the YouTube channel. No selling, nothing. I just he made the first move. I did not ask him. I did not ask him, are you going for this product? So he asked me, what is the cost of this? What is the investment? What I will get? And then you actually make people uh, get into your product. So that's how they get into your
So
industry.
for me, that's exactly what should be happening. That is exactly the new age sales and new age marketing. Position yourself as an expert. Step one, okay, let me break it down into steps actually. Step one is to position yourself as an expert. And what happens when you position yourself as an expert is people come to you. The whole game of selling flips. From you going to people, people start coming to you. Exactly what happened to you today. Yeah, people come to you, and people come to you for suggestions. People come to you for opinions. People come to you for some support. People come to you so that they feel better because experts make them feel safe, right? At any point, if I'm going through something, I would want to talk to an expert. So people start coming to you for these things. What I generally do is what they want immediately, I offer it for free. An immediate piece of advice is something that I can give. In fact, all I do on Leher is keep throwing out my opinions and
Yeah.
advice. So that's why I absolutely love the application as well. That's what I keep doing. One piece of advice I can give for free. One solution that they're looking for, I can give it for free because it doesn't cost me any money. I can do that. Then later, when they come to me for the second time, that's when I sell. But here's the thing: they come in the intention to buy.
Right.
Suddenly, like you said, they are asking for your service. The whole people are failing to see this. Like quite literally, it ticks me off the fact that people don't see this. Today,
Yeah.
let's take this state. I feel terribly bad for all the businesses that are shutting down, that have had to shut down today, especially the small and medium size. They're going to take the biggest hit today. And for me, as much as I feel bad for them, I blame them because they haven't stepped out to upgrade their skills.
Got it.
At least I
So
think one
Swastik,
thing
I have
they should really ingrain is the fact that in this 2 weeks break, spend some time learning and upgrading your skills because your business is anyway shut for 2 weeks. Please sit at home,
Yeah.
take online programs, courses, coaching systems, join something, and upgrade your skills. Do something worthwhile. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you were asking me something.
Got it. So before I ask you the next question, there is a Atul is asking, how did I come to know that it was from YouTube? So I asked them. One is I asked them, how did you get to know about me? Second is I have a specific number only for YouTube. So when he contacted me on my WhatsApp number, I got to know that he contacted me from YouTube.
Right.
So coming back to your point, Swastik. So especially with your expert positioning, you
Mm-hmm.
have already built that authority. They already know that you have in it you whatever they are looking at. In fact, the interesting story about my today's sale, especially, is that he is somebody who knows more than me, but
Okay.
he looks at me as an expert because of my videos, because of the things that I am posting on the YouTube channel and other stuff. So,
Right, right.
in fact, the sale was already made. I only
Mm-hmm.
facilitated the sale. I only
Okay.
facilitated the sale without any
Yeah, yeah,
mistakes.
yeah, yeah.
So the question that I have for you, Swastik, is you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about the small and medium business enterprises should position
Mm-hmm.
themselves as an expert. But
Right.
look at somebody probably. I mean, can this will this be applicable for all and every small and medium enterprises, or it's the expert positioning is applicable to only select few businesses?
So here's the thing. So one of the people I'm working with right now, he's in the medical industry. He's selling pharma veterinary supplements for pets, for for cattle and all these things. He's getting into the pet sector as well. So for me, this positioning factor works anywhere. Rather, it's quite obvious that it will work anywhere because in any business, there is a transaction of money. And wherever money is going, money goes to somebody where they're made to feel safe, made to feel secure with the transaction. And an expert by default will make you feel safe, will make you feel secure. So, which by default means that the money will come from here to you, irrespective of what industry you're in. For me, I don't look at expert positioning in terms of industries. I look at expert positioning in terms of two people having a conversation. One
Exactly.
person talking to another expert for a solution. That's how I see it.
Got it.
So, if I may
Interesting.
interject here, I feel like no matter what we think, we look at it as B2B, B2C, B2 whatever CS, but in the end, it's two people. So no matter
Right,
what,
right.
if in the most funny way of saying it, you have to put out the other person. Like it's always a person on the other end. We tend to forget that. So whatever it is, it's another human being on the other side. So it's human psychology that ends up playing here. So yeah, always
Yeah,
works
yeah, true.
for any industry.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's the thing. Absolutely, completely agree with what Ramya had to say. Ultimately, you're in this business of people to people. You are in the business of pleasing another person.
Yeah.
You are in the business of customer support. I frankly think that everybody is in the business of customer support. Because if you have to sell your product or service to another person, you better make the customer feel secure and safe. So that's my thought on this. I think Shitesh is asking in that sense, is it easier to sell a premium product than a fully loaded subscription which has a free trial? So, Shitesh, are you asking in terms of expert position? So the thing is, I think a fully loaded subscription which has a free trial is perhaps slightly easier to sell than a freemium product because at this point, freemium product is considered to be something that's very easily available to people, something that has no value. But if it's a fully loaded subscription that you're talking about, which has a trial, let's say the 7-day trial, which they can access without a card entry, by the way, a card entry really drops.
Yeah.
If they have to enter their card details, it really drops
Yes.
the inflow. But without a card entry, if you have a fully loaded subscription for, let's say, 7 days, people would be more likely to try it because they're getting to see the entire value. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, as small and medium businesses, saying the business owner should position himself or herself as an expert. You should sell yourself first and the product later. People should buy you first and the product later. That's my view. What do you think about
So
this view?
just to continue on to what you are saying, Swastik. So it is high time that CEOs come out of the logos and start talking about themselves, their ideas. So
Nice.
gone are the days where I as a CEO wanted to hide behind my logo and I will put my logo first and then my company name first, because especially in the current age where everybody is connected, so the very fact that we are all connected now and talking about the new age sales techniques tells us that everybody is connected and wants to do business with real human beings. They want to feel
Right, right.
connected, as you rightly said, feeling safe and secure. So they want to feel safe and secure with the person they would like to know. So it's a typical circle. It's a typical cycle of first knowing you, then liking you, and then trusting you, because once they start trusting you is when they don't mind opening up their wallet and
Right.
giving you whatever the money that you want.
Right, right. I agree. So, yeah, absolutely. Gone are those days. Because here's the thing: the concept of hiding behind logos and all of this thing, people believe that this is the concept of marketing, but marketing is actually the process of changing somebody's belief system. Marketing is a phase of changing the customer's belief system. So, which means if you're trying to, let's say, sell a phone, if you're trying to sell anything for that matter, you need to get the customer to believe that this is what he or she needs. So marketing is not about pushing your brand, giving your cards, creating fancy cards, and putting your logo outside. That's of course branding. Branding is an aspect of it, but marketing is
Yes.
essentially changing the belief system. Selling is about addressing objections. Selling essentially should only be about addressing objections that the customer might have. And closing, which brings me to closing. Closing is giving them a logical reason on why they should buy right now. Because you want the money now. You don't want the money 10 days later. You want the money right now.
Yeah.
So for me, marketing, selling, and closing is this process. Marketing is changing beliefs. Selling is addressing objections, and closing is giving them reasons on why they should buy right now. So gone are the days with the whole, sitting behind the logos and
So there are some questions. Atul is asking a couple of questions. Swastik.
Okay, Atul. Okay, so what was the first question? But does an end consumer care about who the CEO is? Probably not. To answer that question, probably not. For example, they might not even know who the CEO is. But what I'm saying is, instead of a brand, instead of a logo, if there is a face, the customer will feel safe.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the CEO's face. You can you can get the CEO's best friend's face as well. Doesn't matter. But I'm saying instead of a
No,
logo, get a face.
I don't know how relevant this is to the topic, but if you look at TV advertisements before, the
Mm-hmm.
reason why they used to put actors to endorse products, CEO is not there, the actor is endorsing, but people trust the actor in the face because they've been seeing him for a while, and they literally have a fan following towards that person. So they end up buying the mobile that actor is endorsing or whatever, whatever. Why? Because you
Mm-hmm.
trust the face and you're familiarized with the face. So yeah, I mean, this is not that the CEO's face should be there in the front, but the face makes a difference. And if you're an expert and your face is visible, that has a whole other impact, I think.
Right, right. Makes sense. So Shankar, you were saying something.
Yeah. So Atul has a couple of other questions. Maybe you should quickly pick them up. Why should it matter if the product is damn so good? I mean, absolutely, Atul. I mean, I completely agree with you. And then what's the other question? Swastik, you want to take that?
So he says Elon Musk can be the biggest ass, but still people buy Tesla because it's an awesome car. So his question is, why should it matter if the product is so damn good? so, so Atul, for my question to you here is, why do you hate Elon Musk? No, but should it? Okay, you don't hate him, is it? Then okay, you just think that he's an ass. No problem. That's a nice opinion to have in any case. No, but why should it matter if the product is so damn good? Here's the thing: people, of course, the product is one thing, and here there is a lot of waves that ride on the early adopters, a wave that ride on the early adopters, and people. The product can be good in the factor of it does not exist currently and there's a new innovation. At that point, the product definitely stands out. But when there are competitors, yesterday I was talking to this person who was in the construction field, and his question to me was first, there are three people, three competitors in my space. All of us offer the same product at the same cost. The issue that I'm having is I'm not able to convince the customer that my product is better, right? So when there is a close competition in pricing, when you have competition arising, that's where the concept of being an expert and putting your face across matters. That's my thought. Shankar, what do you think of this?
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, absolutely. So, if, as you rightly said, if there are two choices, I would definitely
Mm-hmm.
want to go with somebody whom I know, whom I feel it is safe and secure. And bang on, I think you got it right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So Shankar and Ramya, what I'm going to be doing is, I see that there are a lot of questions that have been put up. I'm going to start a Q&A round here. So let me just start the round. Okay. So let me select the
Sure.
questions. The first question that I see, Shankar, I think I'll push this question to you. So, can you see the question?
Should we factor in end users' maturity while designing brand campaigns, or should we design it for a layman? Uh, okay, so the we should definitely be looking at who our target audience is, and accordingly we should do the campaign. So if it should include end user, it should include a couple of other people. If especially if you are in the B2B environment, you should definitely consider other people who are not just end users, who are involved in the buying process. So they should also be taken care of when you are doing the brand campaign. Your thoughts, Swastik?
So, the question was, should we factor in end users' maturity while designing the brand campaign? Of course, 100%. Like you said, because ultimately, if you don't consider their maturity and if you're just taking the whole crowd, one is of course by default you're not going to get the right buyers for your product. Forget the right buyers; you're not going to get buyers for your product. That's point one. And of course, with respect to B2B sales, you need to consider the factor here. Here it comes to one important thing that we did for the pharma campaign. We started targeting the end user, even though he was in B2B sales. We started targeting the end users, so that we did more B2B sales because we showed him that the end users were demanding this. this product. So if you are in B2B business and if you can directly start promoting to the end user, it naturally becomes easy for you to make a B2B transaction. That's my thought. Yeah, you should factor in the maturity of brand campaigns. Yes, well, you need to factor in the end users. So Shankar, can I talk in the next question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. This is a question by Vikas, so you can take this.
Okay, so this is directly to Swastik.
Okay. So is the new age sales process working because of newness and less competition? Uh, perhaps, perhaps, perhaps. The thing is, the concept of selling keeps evolving, and at this point, positioning yourself as an expert is the latest thing in the market, and it is working out because with the big companies, customers are finding it safe to work with the smaller players who are just a few steps ahead. That's general safety that the customer sees when making a purchase decision. So, which also means that this new age marketing methods, let's say you're trying to sell a mattress from Kurlon. If you're trying to sell a mattress from Kurlon as an affiliate marketer, forget you being holding a retail store. If you're selling a Kurlon mattress as an affiliate marketer, you putting yourself in between Kurlon and the end user, positioning yourself as an expert can make the customer feel a lot safer. With the onset of affiliate marketing really picking up, it shows that the person in the middle is aiding sales. With the influencer marketer setup really growing in 2020, 2019, it shows that the middle person who is an influencer, who is an expert, is really aiding to the sale. So it is one is the factor of newness, also because that we have connectivity. We have more connectivity, which means we can reach out to a lot more people. So that's one of the reasons why this is picking up and it's working right now.
Got it. So, Swastik, on this note, why don't you elaborate on what is your thought on the new age sales process or new age selling?
Okay, like I said,
What according to you is the new age selling?
New age sales is very simple. Once direct answer is position yourself as an expert, people come to you. You don't sell to them; they buy from you.
Okay.
So if you're a sales guy, again going back to my Kurlon example, the customer would rather buy a Kurlon mattress from somebody who they think is an expert in selecting mattresses, as opposed to them going to a Kurlon store and listening to their executive there. I 100% believe in this, without a doubt. So the new age sales method is just about positioning yourself as an expert to get people to come to you, and when they come to you, you build them. This is the new age sales method. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, definitely yes. But what about the product companies? So how do you think they can leverage or they can use the new age process to their advantage? I mean, in one way, what you are saying is the movement from you reaching out, which is the outbound, to when you have the more number of inbound leads, sales can
Right.
be faster, sales can be much better, and all of that stuff. So you have the
True.
control of the entire sales process. But then, if you are a product company, so how do you think you can actually leverage the new age selling method? How can you position yourself as an expert? So does that mean that they should start positioning themselves as an expert first and then start a product company, or if they already have a product company, they should spend time in positioning themselves as an expert so that
So
they start
can we
getting
take
more
an
sales?
example, Shankar? Can we take an example that something that you might recall?
I mean, we can take the classical examples like Ola, Oyo, which are Swiggy, and the Mintras of the world.
Okay,
So,
so
where does
now
your expert positioning or the new age selling fits into these kind of companies? Or
right.
does it differ from companies to company, industry to industry? So that's one of the questions that Atul was also asking. So I thought I'll club both of them. So now that we are talking about the new age sales process or new age selling method.
This is quite interesting because I perhaps have not thought of it in that direction. Now that you asked me this question, I'm thinking in that direction.
So the
Now,
probable answer to that, I'll probably add some thought to that since I come from the marketplace background. So I've worked
right.
in one of the largest marketplace in India called Naukri.com, and then one another
Okay.
marketplace which started as a startup. So when it is
Okay.
a marketplace, what do you mean by a marketplace? Is you have the supply side, you have the demand side, and there is a platform which matches the supply side and the demand side. And if it can eliminate inefficiencies and make it much effective, that is when marketplaces thrive. And they can also
Right.
thrive when the supply and demand side is thick in size. I mean, when the supply and demand is very high. So in this case, to me, it's not just the expert positioning. It's also about how fast you can acquire the supply side as well as the demand side, and how can you leverage technology to ensure that you are eliminating all the inefficiencies and making your model very, very effective and efficient.
I agree. I think here, I think this is where your expertise come in, and you take over the entire thing because it makes a lot more sense.
Right.
When I talk
Right.
about expert positioning, I very specifically talk about small businesses with a team size of 3 to 10 people, which actually forms a huge part of our economy. It's very small businesses that are trying to, in fact, perhaps small businesses that are trying to pace up with the businesses that you're talking about. Small businesses that are trying to keep up with the businesses that you're talking about, that's where expert positioning strongly comes into play.
Got it. So just to add on to what I was saying, so that is one thing. But then when you add your expert positioning, which means that if I have to do next business with some other dobiwala or
Right.
some other company, so if I know that he understands my needs well, if he understands my requirements well, I don't mind doing business with him compared to
True,
other
true.
people out there in the market. So any day, the expert positioning is going to help, because people would love to do business where they see an expertise, where they see that he has more knowledge than the other people.
Absolutely. So that's like the foundation on where this discussion
Got it.
lies. The foundation of this discussion lies in the fact that people love experts. People love talking to experts, doing business with experts. They trust experts, and that's the conversation. The conversation is being built about that. Right. So
Super.
I'm going to take up the next question. I think Shankar, this question is directly directed to you. Check this.
Especially with startups, one has to start selling before having a definitive business model. How does one achieve that? Okay. So, especially with startups, one has to start selling before having a definitive business model. Absolutely, KK. I mean, you're bang on. So, you need to really crack the monetization of your idea before even you start building the entire product. So that is when you will actually get to know from the market whether your idea is monetizable, whether it has buyers in the market, whether it has a lot of interest from the stakeholders. So definitely it makes a lot of sense. That's where probably I will bring in the concept of funnel building, where you have your front end. You talked about the freemium model in one of your earlier questions, where you offer something for free, okay, and then they are addicted to your free model, and either the logical thing for them to go to the next one can be a paid model, or there can be other features that they want to really explore. So that's where the premium model comes into picture. So bang on, they need to really crack the monetization model before they even get into the market, and they need to really test the idea before they actually build the entire product.
Right. So there are two more questions here. Guys, can you please put up the questions in the question section because we are taking questions sequentially. This is for Abhinav and Wise. So there are so many people who put up questions there. So Wise, next to the comment section, I think there is an option for you to put up questions there. We'll definitely address this question. Is that okay? Because so that we have a sequence in the questions. Shankar, what do you think? Ramya, what do you think?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. So let me go back to the questions there. So, okay, Shankar, these are all questions shot directly to you. They're like,
While selling, does the brand come before the product, or does the product come before the brand? You want to take this, Swastik?
no, I want to let you have this. Have fun.
So KK, I mean, I don't know what context are you asking? So the definitely in especially in the new age selling, from what I have done in terms of sales, from banging doors, especially in the corporate sales environment, to what I am currently doing, brand comes first. But if your product is really good, so I have one more product called the Algomatic, which is, if somebody tries that product, you don't need any explanation, any selling. So they just go for it. So does that answer your question, KK, if you are here? So brand comes before the product, especially in the current times where they want to be associated with something bigger than them. That is where branding is very, very important. But if it can solve their specific problem, they don't mind what brand it is. They will immediately want to stick to it, solve the problem, and move ahead.
But I
Yeah,
think, Shankar, in this context, for example, for you to, at this point, for you to drastically increase your sales on Algomatic, even though it solves a very critical problem because I've been using your product. I don't know how you came up with this. It's fantastic. So since I've been using with it, and I know that it can really, really address a lot of people. The thing is, if you put out the brand first, if you go put out saying Shankar Kulkarni is the guy to go for trading, I think it will solve a lot more problems. The product only gets recognized when the brand is out there.
right.
So I think
I
first
agree. So
step
it
is the
definitely accentuates my product and there is a
yeah.
credible face behind the product. So you're bang on. So I mean that's where the awareness of the customer also comes into picture. So there are. So I
Right,
have
right.
two kinds of audience.
Mm-hmm.
Sustek. One is a set of
Okay.
people who know me already, and if I
Okay.
suggest a product to them, they don't
They'll
think
blindly
twice.
buy it. Yeah.
They'll just go for it. Second set
Uh-huh.
of people who do not know me, but
Uh-huh.
if they come to know about the product, and in that case, if the product is really, really awesome and if it is solving their current problem,
Mm-hmm.
they will just blindly sign up.
My question to you here is, Shankar, backing up on this, since you say they'll blindly say that, I agree completely with the people who already trust you. Even though they see it as something that can immediately solve their problem, how can they really trust you for that fact?
So, especially if I have to talk about thealgomatic.com, where I
Mm-hmm.
have the freemium model, which means anybody can go there, they can try it for
Right,
themselves. You have the
right.
freemium model, they can try it
Uh,
for free, no charges, nothing, no credit card, no upfront billing, nothing of that sort. Okay, it's
mm-hmm.
completely free for
Got it.
anybody to try. Okay, so from there, they find the value, and if they
Got it.
find value from there, they will automatically move to the next step, which is they want
So got
additional
it.
features.
So
So
which
it's
means
simple. I
that
mean, you don't.
if you had to get people to pay you, do you agree that it would be difficult? Now since it's a freemium model, of course you're building your brand and trust while you're taking them through the freemium system. But if they were to pay you upfront with 10,000, 20,000 rupees, I think it would be very difficult in that case.
Maybe yes. Maybe yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this
Okay.
is where I can
So
actually use my expert positioning plus the product offering, which is already there. Where I after
right.
they sign up, you start sending them the videos, or you start nurturing them in terms of
Mm-hmm.
although they are using it for free. So once you
Mm-hmm.
start nurturing them, ensuring that they are using the product correctly, that's when actually the game can be much bigger.
I think that's where the brand building is happening. So to answer Shitesh's question, that's where the brand building is happening. Even through your freemium, you are building your brand first. And you're showing them that of course they're saying that it can solve their problem, and you're showing them this one. And now you should also consider the fact that let's say there are two brands offering exactly what you have to do. That's where you really had to hike up your brand awareness or brand building, and then you'll be able to grow this. Let me take on the next question now. Again, all questions to about branding all goes to Shankar. Yeah.
How has brand building become difficult in an increasingly crowded market for every product? Yes, it has become very challenging. That is where the new age selling, new age sales process, new age selling, or the influencer marketing, or the videos play a major role. So that's where Swastik can actually come in. And
so so
so
let me take this actually.
for me, Swastik is a video guy. Swastik is somebody who will actually make anybody who's not known in the market to somebody who can be known really big in the market overnight. Overnight might take 1 or 2 months, but literally in the over.
So the question here is, how has brand building become difficult in an increasingly crowded market for every product? It has become difficult for me. It's become difficult if you're taking the normal route. It's become very difficult if you're taking the normal route. And brand building should be, again, this is where personal branding comes into play. Personal branding, again, I'm very specifically talking about small businesses. Personal branding comes into play majorly. And if you're able to show that there is a person behind, there is a team behind the person, and there are people who are actually putting in work behind every product and service they're selling, that's where it becomes very easy. Because we humans like interacting with humans. They don't want to be interacting with computers. They don't want to be interacting with screens. The minute they see that there is a human behind the screen, and the minute they see that there are multiple humans behind that human, automatically the brand is built. For me, that's what I talk about. People go out there just showcasing their logo, showcasing their uh, cards, and just put bombarding people with their brand. Nobody cares. Show your face. Show them that you're real. Show them that you're putting in the efforts. This concept where you're talking about videos. The reason Leher has so many opinions, people coming in here, and I see Wise making a lot of videos. I've been following Wise, and I see him making a lot of great videos. This is a platform where it builds trust. People see that you have something to offer. People see that you can perhaps do something for them. They come and question you on things, right? So I don't completely agree that brand building has become difficult with the crowded market. It's what I think is brand building is not being done right. So Kshitesh, that is my thought on this. I don't think it's become difficult. It's become difficult the normal ways, but it's not become difficult if you use the new age way of selling. And for me, again, repeating the whole concept of new age way of selling, position yourself as an expert, people come to you, build them. Simple. It's a three-step formula. Actually, let's make it four-step. Position yourself as an expert, people come to you, offer something for free, build them. So with this flow, brand building is not all that difficult. Yeah?
Swastik, I wanted to check with you. I remembered one of the case study that you were talking about. A medical designer who converted himself into a expert positioning, and then he started landing bigger deals. So, can you
Yeah,
please
very, very
elaborate on that
interesting.
case study?
That's
Yeah.
very interesting for me because okay, I'll tell you exactly what we did. So he came to us in December 2019. He came to us in December 2019, and he was calling himself a graphic designer. He has a team size of 4 people. He has a team size of 4 people, a small office, and his challenge was his take home cash was about 40,000-50,000 rupees per month. His personal income. Although he was even though he was doing about 2.5, 3 lakhs in sales every month, his personal income was quite low, and he wanted to increase that. The thing is, when you position yourself as a graphic designer, the minute you Google graphic designer, even Google gets confused at this point. Google is like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. There are way too many people. Perhaps if you step
So,
out of your house, you'll
so
find
Swastik,
somebody.
are you saying expert positioning? Even Google loves expert positioning?
So I don't know about that. But here's the thing. What I'm actually saying is this. When you go out as a graphic designer and everybody else is calling themselves a graphic designer, there is nothing for you to stand on. There's no leverage that you have. So what we did was once we started looking through his accounts, we saw that most of his income came in from the medical industry. Most of his income, all the billing that he was doing, at least 70 to 80% of his revenue per month was coming through the medical field. He was working with the dentist, dental equipment, and a few other medical equipment. And he was designing for them, and most of his money was coming from there. So I asked him, see, 20% of your money is coming from few small assignments that you take, where you're printing stuff, creating a small logos and all of this. Why don't you position yourself as a medical graphic designer and tried it. So he just this one small change is all he made. He started calling himself a medical graphic designer in verbal speech. Forget everything else. I don't even know if he's changed this other positioning on his website and all of that yet. In verbal terms, he started calling himself a medical graphic designer. And with this, the month of Jan, he landed a contract with 3M. So his immediate
Wow.
jump from 2.5 lakhs was to 5.3 lakhs. And on Feb, he was on record to do 7.3 lakhs. I don't know. I have to in fact check with him to see if he did it.
Swastik, this reminds me, very interesting case study, Swastik. So that talks
Yeah.
about how expert positioning can really level up the game for anybody. This also
Right.
reminds me of one of the topics that we were discussing in one of our corporate sales training that we did for one of the
Hmm.
high-end medical equipment company, where I was
Right, right.
talking about how the receptionist, when she has to transfer the call to somebody, if
Right.
she just says, I will transfer you to Puneet, who has 10 years of experience in handling similar instances. Just
Right.
by positioning the positioning the person that you are transferring the call to as somebody who has already handled such cases, the sales automatically increased. I mean, there is a proven history to it. There is a scientific research which has already been done. So whatever I am talking, this is proven
In
scientifically. This
fact,
is proven
Shankar, I want to
scientifically.
give you the science behind it. Science behind it. So think about this. In your life, let's take a scenario of you sitting in maybe a pub. You sitting in a pub, and there's this random guy who comes and sits in front of you. Suddenly you're uncomfortable. You're not sure who he is. Let's say this random guy is not well dressed. Also. Let's take an assumption that this random guy is not well dressed as well. Suddenly you're thinking, what is he doing here? Why is he here? You suddenly feel uncomfortable. Perhaps you might, if you're having a bad day, you might even declare that this is the worst day of your life because you went there to drink, drink your sorrows out. And then there's some random guy who's sitting in front of you who looks homeless. You position him in a particular place in your mind. Now, let's assume same place, Shah Rukh Khan comes and sits in front of you. Even he doesn't say a word. Both of them don't say a word. Suddenly, it has become your best day of your life. From the worst day of your life to the best day of your life. The only
Right.
thing that changed was the person seen in front of you. So, which this the science behind this is this. In our mind, we have a hierarchy for people. We listen to people beyond the threshold and we reject everything below that threshold point. So the concept, the reason expert positioning works, or rather taking the medical designer context work, because all graphic designers were perhaps below the threshold for 3M. But when he positioned himself as a medical designer, he went beyond the threshold and he was able to get their attention. When people pay attention, people pay money. So when you position yourself as an expert, you cross the threshold in people's minds. The minute you cross the threshold in people's minds, they listen to you. That's what happens. And I think this is how expert positioning works.
Interesting. This is very
Yeah, I think
interesting.
this is how it works. And one second. So basically, why is let me put why is question here. Don't you think the brand is made by the customers? Without the customers, we only have assumptions of what our brand is. So Shankar, are you taking that?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, brand is all about customers. So, what perception they have about your product, what you are offering. In fact, let me take a step back, Voice, for a moment and talk about how we as a startup founders or all the other business owners, we are so much in love with our product and services. But what ideally we should be really on a day-to-day basis exploring is what are the customers' pain points? What are his yearly pain points, frustrations, daily, monthly? What is he getting up with that one pain point that your product or your offering can solve? That itself eventually will turn out into a brand. When you convert that pain or frustration or his sorrow, his worst nightmare into a message, that becomes your brand message. And once you start solving the problems for him, so that becomes your business.
So I think Shankar, I want to add to Vai's question here. He says, "Don't you think the brand is made by the customers?" 100% agree. Because here's the thing: in the last 1 year, I have positioned myself in different places, tried to create different brand positioning for myself, and at every point, mostly did not work. I can successfully say, of course, my 7 businesses that I've created vastly failed. That's a different point on its own. But other than that, I can successfully say that in one particular sector, one particular industry, I tried different positionings. Most of it did not work. Even though what I was delivering was pretty much the same, it did not work. So, don't you think that the brand is made by the customer? I think it is 100% made by the customer. It is assumptions till you do it right out. So, brand building should be in strong correlation with what the customer sees the need for. And if there is an existing company, you can build it. So, with the medical design thing, it was an existing company, it was an existing brand, and we had stats to validate the fact that he could position himself in the medical field. But if you're just starting out, the only way to do it is go out there and experiment. You need to see what brand people see you to be. What brand? Basically, you're right because when you go out there, you're going with one vision, but the market does not resonate with it. You try the next message, market does not resonate with it. But perhaps the third message for the same content, the market resonates with it, and that is what gets coined as the brand. So this is what I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so we have one more question from the guy with ideas. People start comparing your platform's offering with a mature slash established product with free trials. How do you tackle that? Shankar, how would you tackle your freemium product?
Okay. So if your product is solving a very specific problem for a specific set of people, this should not be a problem. So in one of my startup currently, a tech startup, where it solves problem not to everybody, but to somebody who is already aware in his entire cycle, and at one cycle for him he looks at that as something that is god sent. Okay, that is god sent. So if you can actually have your product in such a way that it is, they think that it is made for them. I mean, they should be like, feel like they are waiting for this product to come into their hands. That is when they will not compare with anybody else who's, I mean, anybody else outside. So that can be one of the key, I mean, that can be one of the key differentiator. The other one is the expert positioning that Swastik is talking about. How can you repackage the existing same product into different offerings, so that the end customer feels what you are giving him is completely different than what the other established players are giving. So especially with the established players, typically what would have happened is their service levels might not be as good as the startups who's now fresh entrant in the market. The kind of understanding that the startup can make with the customers currently, the large client will not be able to make it. So that's probably how you can actually differentiate between a large company who is offering free trial versus your startup which is just starting, and how you can differentiate yourself.
Actually, here's the thing. So, in fact, Ramya has been very quiet in this discussion. I'll tell you
I keep
the thing
losing
about
connection.
no, no. Oh, of course, I figured that you were dropping on the call.
Yeah.
The thing about Ramya, for everybody who's listening to this, is she is somebody who comes with a huge experience. One is with music, the second one is with design, and she somehow managed to link music and design into business, which is massive, if you ask me.
Wow.
So
Thank
that's
you.
for example, she's the
It
co-founder of
is
Swastik
musical
company.
to hear.
So
Thank you.
she's the co-founder of a company, Select Like Swastik, and the amount of value and insights she brings into this in terms of design and in terms of customer resonance on what the customer wants to see, what the customer wants to hear is massive. So Ramya, can you add your insights on what you think the customer wants to see, both from a buyer's perspective and from a seller's perspective?
From a buyer's perspective, right?
A seller's
Seller.
perspective.
Okay. What the customer wants to see, one is clarity. I think they really like transparency, and that's something I resonate with very deeply as well. So I
Okay.
feel like the sellers should also, like from a seller's perspective and a buyer's perspective, transparency is one thing that I feel is absolutely very critical. This is
Got it.
not with respect to design, but in general about your
Mm-hmm.
product, about your mission, about what you're doing this for, and you're selling. Like even
Okay.
if you're selling, let's be clear, let's be transparent. I think even the customer really appreciates it, because me as a customer, I love it when there is that kind of a transparency from that end. So yeah, that is one
Got
thing
it.
for sure. And the second thing is communication. Like it should be evident that if I am investing time or money or anything into some particular product or a service or even a subscription or whatever, I should know that I will get a response back. Like I think I've had a bad experience with Uber once where I couldn't get through a customer care literally once, and I don't use Uber anymore. I just
That's
it's just
actually a
a
very
one time thing, and my mind has just
interesting thing.
been made.
Right, right,
And I know how big a player Uber is. For me, it is only when Ola is absolutely not working and I'm stranded and I have no other option, and autos
right,
are not stopping, that's when I stoop to Uber. Because for me, it's like that. So I feel
right,
that two-way communication is very important. So yeah,
right.
transparency, communication, and definitely quality. With that's where the design comes in. I feel like quality is important. I feel like if I'm spending money and time on something, it should at least look like something worth investing in.
Got
The
it.
ease of navigating through whatever they have to
Right.
offer. So yeah.
Okay, so we are going to be taking the last two questions. One is the guy with the ideas, and Abhinav, before we end this session today. Shankar, the question again is directly for you. So he says, do you have any tips for fighting vendor lock-ins in B2B segment?
Okay, do you have any tips for fighting vendor lock-ins in B2B segment apart from cheaper offering? Example, Salesforce versus Lead Squared. Okay, versus the Zohos and the other companies in the world. Do you have any tips for fighting vendor lock-ins in B2B segment? Okay, I'm not getting the question. Swastik, can you please, if you can elaborate on the question?
I'm not sure. So the guy with the ideas, what exactly do you mean by fight vendor lock-ins? Can you elaborate on that, please? So in the meanwhile, I'll take the next question. So of course, so the guy with the ideas will take your question, which will be the last question. And here, I have Abhinav asking me, sir, what do you think is important in high-ticket sales? This interesting question.
That's, by the way, is a curiosity. So you you raise the curiosity, and people want to know what is that.
So this is a thing.
So
Let me tell you.
before Swastik, before you start, I don't have anything to say. You can start.
Okay, so here's the thing. So, what do you think is important in high ticket sales? For high ticket sales, what you need to do is take them through a series of qualification. When you're selling something of high ticket, stop selling it to everybody. Make it a scarce resource. Make it a rarity. Qualify them step by step by step by step. This product is not for you. Maybe this product is not for you. Do you think this product is for you? Get them to say yes as much as possible. Get them to tell you that this product is for them. Get them to tell you that they need to buy this product from you. The more you do this, okay, personal examples, here's the thing. So, for if I were to sell a high ticket coaching system, which is about 2.5 lakhs, what I would do is I would get them to tell me why they need to pay me 2.5 lakhs for this. I would tell them that this is not for you. You need to tell me why you should pay 2.5 lakhs for me and why you need to go through this. Because this is only for people who take action. This is only for people who are willing to do what it takes. Tell me why are you somebody who's willing to do what it takes? Now you need to understand this. The minute he answers that question, he's agreed that he wants to spend 2.5 lakhs with you. Very, very important for you to know. The minute he's answered that question on why he has to invest 2.5 lakhs or why he wants to get into the program, he's agreed to do this with you. And then you still don't. So again, you might answer this question, but you don't end it there. You need to take it in multiple answers. You requalify them and you requalify them. The higher the cost of the product, you keep requalifying them more and more. And I think that's the way to go with high ticket sales. Shankar, what is your thought?
Yes, absolutely. If you ask me, one of the tip for you to sell more of high ticket versus low ticket, one of the differentiating factor between a high ticket and a low ticket. In the low ticket, this is one of the sales technique that you can actually adopt. If it comes to low ticket, you can actually hide the price in the beginning, and then you can tell all your offering, and then towards the end you can disclose your price for a low ticket offering. But when it comes to high ticket offering, including the seeding, so you keep on seeding. One is the technique that Swastik talked about. The other one is where you actually start seeding in. For example, my 1 lakh client, this is what I do for them. This is what they are saying. My 10 lakh clients, this is what I do for them. And so this is how you start seeding, and which means that they're already thinking, how can I afford 10 lakhs for this particular product? So
That's a fantastic. That's a fantastic idea.
you disclose the price first, and then you start adding value one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. Thereby, he thinks, okay, this looks like the price is lesser, but the value that I'm getting is very, very high. Let me invest right now. Let me invest right now.
Awesome. So I think Abhinav, I hope you got that. I hope you got that. So Shankar, he's the guy with the ideas, has really expanded the question.
Yes, so I'm just checking. When they're so established, very, 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 very good question. The guy with the ideas. Looks like you have a lot of ideas for sure. Are you writing? Are you writing down all your ideas on a daily basis? So one of my mentor, his name is James Altucher. He proposes this idea. So uh, everybody should exercise their idea muscle. So they should write down 10 ideas, 5 ideas every single day. Okay, so I understood your question. So I mean, they are so established and deeply invested in the existing product. The inertia to try a new product is very high. I'm talking about organizations with 200 employees. They are locked into their current solution mostly because moving to a new product can be very difficult. I completely agree with you that this is where you are selling with an expert positioning, selling with all the other thing that you can include. It can be scarcity, it can be making it very premium and exclusive. It can be so if it is a technology partnership, right? I mean, I have worked with not a very high complex technology integration, but at least a normal technology integration. So I need to go and propose a technical solution which fits in and talks to all their other departments. So I'm assuming one of the question that you're asking is related to a sales CRM or a CRM, is where you actually make it so exclusive, so different, so package it in such a way that they can let go of their current association and they can sign up with you. So that requires a little bit of additional selling, expert positioning that we are talking about. Yeah, Swastik, go ahead.
So here's the thing. So I think the guy with the ideas question was technically perhaps the perfect way to end the session because it technically involves every single thing that we've talked about in one pitch. I want to add one last point to this. This is what Tony Robbins says. This is Tony Robbins' concept of getting rid of any negative habit. This is his concept of neuro-associative conditioning, NAC, where you need to create massive leverage. And I think I was thinking about this kind of used in sales, and of course it can, where you get the customer to give you leverage on why the old product is not working out for them. And then once you found the wound, start pouring salt. Slowly start pouring more and more salt till it starts hurting really bad. Use all the techniques that you've been given, and it starts hurting really bad. You've created massive leverage to a point that they want to exit. So I think you apply the principles of neuro-associative conditioning. Go study NAC now by Tony Robbins, and I think you can apply that in this. And Shankar, this is something that I want to try. Now that I've thought of this, I think it's very interesting.
No, there is also a similar concept, Swastik, which is twisting the knife. You just don't put the knife, but you twist the knife. So that's something that you can try it for.
Oh yes. So I think that's all the questions for today. And anyways, so any closing notes, Ramya? You have any closing notes? Can you hear
Sorry,
me?
I'm so sorry. I can't hear you.
Okay. Do you have any closing notes?
No, I'm good. The signal is breaking, so I think we all should.
Okay. So I think we have had a bad internet today. No problem.
Yeah.
So Shankar, what are your closing thoughts?
Closing notes is selling is very important, especially in the current times where everybody is corona hit. So doubt virus is bigger than the coronavirus now. So this is when you need to really sharpen your selling skills. Go out there in the market, sell what they need, because selling is the need. Selling is something that everybody wants. So like we talked about in the initial stages, everybody wants to buy. We want to buy a product. So it's about how do you create that buying environment, not just the selling environment. Create a buying environment and make them feel safe and secure, and they will not mind opening their wallet and giving you whatever you want.
Right. Got it. For me, I think one very important closing thought for me is commissioned salespeople. I have massive respect for because they are the ones who realize that there are no free lunches in this world. And if you are an entrepreneur, you are by default a commission sales guy because only when you step out and make sales do you make money. And if you're working for a business as a sales guy, don't try to be a commission sales guy and not a salaried sales guy because when you're commission, one is you don't bill anybody for what you don't do. You bill them very well for the things that you do. You take good commissions, you take a lot of money, no problem, but you take money for the things that you do. And I have massive respect for them. One is because they go out and take action. Second one is because they know that there are no free lunches. Third one is because they need to go position themselves as experts. And I think on that note, I think we should end today's discussion. It has been fantastic. Thank you, Shankar, for staying here. Thank you, Ramya. Even though your net has been bad, you've not been able to respond. That's okay. For everybody who's here and who's interacting, because
thank you everyone for joining and making this fun. Thank you.
This was massively fun. Chitesh, thank you so much. Vikas, the guy with the ideas, Valis. You guys have been
It's been
massively
great.
fun,
Thank you.
and I think Leher has finally brought this platform where I'm having fun. I get to do what I love doing, and it's been fantastic. Thank you, Leher and Leher team. That as well for listening to this. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. We'll keep doing more of this, more discussions. So let's try and become the Arnab Goswamis of sales in the coming days. All right. So on that note, take care, guys. Signing off. See you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.